Nick Thompson, being in talent and transformation, an area that's always important for the HR function, but now more than ever is absolutely essential. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
So my role in IBM is to help clients digitalize their HR functions. And I think what we'd seen before COVID was that companies had started to embark on digital transformation, but it had been very much a slow and small scale. I think what we've seen COVID be is a real catalyst in accelerating that digital HR journey. So when the pandemic hit, we saw two types of organization. We saw ones that predominantly still worked in a manual way. So manual forms, very little technology within their business, really weren't at all enabled to deliver remote working and allow people to complete all of those tasks and activities they have to do on a day-to-day basis from home. And then we saw other organizations that over the last few years had embraced technology, had put in digital tools, digital solutions, digital applications that were much more flexible and much more adaptable to dealing, if you like, with the repercussions of the pandemic. So that's really where we saw cognitive virtual agents come in. And cognitive virtual agents, I would simply describe as a chatbot and a simple version, through to a very sophisticated virtual agent at the top end, which effectively replaces human interaction. And cognitive virtual agents can do four things. They can understand a user, they can understand a user's query, understand the underlying intent of what someone's trying to get to, or the information someone's trying to get to. They can reason, so they can understand based on that question, there may be a range of different answers, a range of different responses. They can interact, and we talk a lot about how they interact in a natural language way. So effectively interacting exactly like you would with a human being. They learn. So cognitive virtual assistants, AI, is always learning. It learns from each interaction, and that enables it over time to improve, to become more effective, to basically enhance the experience that the user's getting from that interaction with it. So what we really created from an organizational perspective was something that would drive getting information to employees, helping them do process, but also, as is crucial to the conversation today, would really look after the well-being and safety of their employees. So in IBM, we're big believers in the view that we have a duty of care to employees, and that we have to provide a safe, strong working environment for them. And that's where we saw cognitive virtual assistants, the business case for them, really come into fruition. It was around that: how can I make sure my employees are safe, they get access to that knowledge and information that they really need, and that we can ultimately start to give them that information dynamically. So as things change throughout the pandemic, they've also always got access to the latest and greatest in terms of our company standpoint. We're all starting to use this term, the new normal. And I think there's an acceptance across businesses and across HR that as people return, we're very unlikely to go back to the ways of working that we had historically. I think we'll almost certainly see more flexible working, more demand for work-life balance, including from some demographics that probably weren't the key areas in that area. We'll see more demand for remote working, and I think what we'll also see is more resilience around wanting to embrace digitalization. So, the solutions that we're putting in for clients around AI, automation, machine learning, and particularly the cognitive virtual agents, I would say are sustainable solutions. They're ones that now more than ever, there's a business case to adopt them. And I think that'll certainly, within the new ways of working in the new working world, if you like, they'll be more in demand and more relevant than ever. So the message for me is that I think AI, virtual assistants, intelligent workflows are really going to bridge the gap between what we've seen historically around how HR's worked, and if you like, the new digital HR that we're going to see in the future, and particularly again in terms of how employees get unfettered access to the latest information and complete all of those HR processes they need to do virtually. And in the future, that'll inevitably be more of a push from employees for that to be a mobile experience, be it a voice-enabled experience, so that really they can interact with their HR tools in the same way as they interact with their consumer tools in the wider world, Siri, Amazon Echo, and all of those other technologies that people have at home, and their expectations now is that they have them at work.